Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're training hard, ticking all the boxes, doing the sessions, but your training just isn't improving? If that sounds familiar, there's a good chance the issue isn't effort, it's that you're training the wrong system. In most runners I coach, when hard work doesn't translate into faster times, lactate threshold is usually the missing piece. Today, I'm going to break down what lactate threshold actually is, why there are two of them, and how to train both properly so that your work finally starts to pay off. Let me first break down what lactate threshold really is. Most runners think lactate threshold is just one pace. That's the first misunderstanding. In reality, your body has two key thresholds that matter for endurance performance. Lactate threshold describes how well your body balances lactate production and clearance. As pace increases, lactate rises gradually at first. Eventually it rises faster than your body can manage. Understanding where these points sit is what allows you to train smart instead of just training hard. Here's the difference between the two lactate thresholds. The first is your first lactate threshold, often called LT1. In this threshold zone, lactate begins to rise above baseline. Running feels controlled but no longer effortless. This pace is sustainable for a long time. I like to describe LT1 as working but not working hard. The second lactate threshold is LT2. In this threshold zone, lactate spikes rapidly, breathing becomes heavy and rhythmic, focus narrows, and sustainability drops. This is that uncomfortable pace where you're not sprinting, but you definitely can't relax. To improve endurance properly, you need to train both LT1 and LT2. So how do you find your thresholds without testing? Most runners don't have access to a lactate testing unit, and that's fine. You can still get very close to using simple tools and this easy to remember calculation. LT1 is roughly around 70 to 75% of your max heart rate. LT2 is roughly 90% of your max heart rate. These numbers vary, but they're a useful starting point. Or you can use how you feel. LT1 feels easy to steady. LT2 feels steady to hard. The key is that you don't need perfection here. You need consistency. This is why just doing more intensity is not the answer to you getting faster. Here's the trap a lot of runners fall into. They realize threshold matters, so they make everything harder. That's a mistake, and here's why. Higher intensity increases injury risk, recovery becomes harder, and consistency breaks down. Elite runners don't train hard all the time. They train deliberately. Research consistently shows they spend about 80% of their training below LT1 and only about 20% of their training at or above threshold. Not because it's easy, but because it works. So how do you train LT1 or aerobic threshold? LT1 is often ignored, even though it's the foundation of endurance. When LT1 improves, your easy pace gets faster. You recover better between sessions, and you can handle more weekly volume. This is what most people call Zone 2 training. For beginners, LT1 training might look very simple. Easy runs, comfortable breathing, even walk run if needed. The biggest mistake here is running too fast. If it feels almost too easy, you're probably right where you need to be. A typical LT1 session could be anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes at an easy controlled effort. Nothing fancy, just consistent aerobic work. Try to run with only your heart rate setting on or percentage of maximum heart rate setting window on your watch, as this will allow for you to measure the exact information that you need when you're training your LT1 system. This is what training your LT2 system without blowing up looks like. LT2 is what most runners think of as threshold pace. It's one of the strongest predictors of race performance. But the goal isn't suffering, it's accumulation. It's all about spending more time near LT2, doing controlled efforts, building repeatable sessions. That's why intervals work better than non-stop tempo runs. Effective LT2 workouts include 6x6 minutes with 1 minute easy, 3x10 minutes with 1 minute easy. Steady, controlled pacing. You should finish feeling challenged but capable of doing it again later in the week. This is why I have built 30 different training sessions for my athletes to use that automatically download onto their wearable devices and keep them focused on training in their LT2 zone without having to remember the workout details. Check out my Ask the Coach training training package on our website for more details. I've put a link in the description. So how do you go about structuring your training week then? To improve both LT1 and LT2, prioritize easy running below LT1, add 1 or 2 LT2 sessions per week, and progress your volume gradually. Use frameworks, not rigid plans. Your life, your history, and your recovering all matter. A basic idea for a week would look like this. Monday, easy or rest day. Tuesday, short or a long interval session in LT2 zone. Wednesday, easy or rest day. Thursday, 20 to 50 minutes of tempo running at a 10K race pace. Friday, easy or rest day. Saturday, structured long runs with intervals. Sunday, easy or rest day. Here's the key takeaway. If hard training isn't making you faster, the answer usually isn't more effort, it's better targeting. Train the right systems often enough to adapt, but sustainably enough to stay healthy. That's how real progress happens. Now, as a running form and technique coach, it's an absolute passion of mine to take you on a transformational journey for you to become the best, confident, and strongest runner that you can be. And by following the steps outlined in this video, you'll be able to start running further each week and start to really transform your long run each week to be able to enjoy fulfilling experience.